Warning, this audio contains spoilers concerning the Walking Dead TV show and the Walking Dead graphic novel. You've been warned.
Hey everybody, I'm Anthony, and this is The Dynamic Dead. This is our first podcast, and come on here, talk about the most recent episode of The Walking Dead, get a couple topics across. Now, before we get started, I'm going to introduce my guest tonight. I have,
Timmy.
Jingles.
Yep. John.
And yeah, that's our cast. Everyone here, our basic credentials are we are all fans. So basically, our opinions and our viewpoints are just as good as yours. So basically, let's get started and talk about last night's episode, which was titled Clear. It was episode 32, 31? It was something like that, like 12. But yeah, so let's just talk about it, because this was the episode where the governor's group and basically Woodbury and Rick's group met in a abandoned house, barn kind of thing.
Like a mill.
A mill, yeah. And they met and kind of talked about it. So what did you guys think of this episode overall? Anyone?
Tim speaking. And I liked the episode. I've never read the graphic novels, and so I have no bias in that sense towards it. And I genuinely enjoyed what happened in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I have to disagree. Walking Dead, it does a thing to me where it really pisses me off, where they waste a whole episode of something that can be accomplished in just 10, 15, 20 minutes. They sat in this warehouse for forever and accomplished one thing that happened at the end where if I guess this is filled with spoilers. Okay.
Yeah, we'll
okay.
get to it later.
All right, yeah. So, yeah.
But I don't know. From my feelings on it was I liked how we kind of just jumped into it. There wasn't a build up between we're gonna meet, because I felt like that would have taken another 20 minutes to try to show Andrea coming back and forth to the prison, trying to negotiate where they want to meet and everything. I like how we just kind of hit the ground running, and everyone just kind of met. Didn't like how the governor was already there, and they were all surprised by him being there. If he didn't drive with you, how else would he have gotten there, Andrea? You dumb idiot. But yeah, I don't know. So those are my thoughts.
I'm indifferent about it. I liked it and I didn't like it. The thing I didn't like about it is how they had Glenn be Rick at the prison, have the same exact mannerisms as him, and then they had Carl stepping up. They had Meryl stepping up at the prison while everyone was away, and then when they were at the mill or whatever, they had Andrea just being all by herself. Then they had everybody else, basically the same people, meeting up and talking. I just didn't like that. But at the same time, I liked how it was set up and how they talked, because it sets up for a very good plot line.
Just a small little note. Did you think it was funny how, Glenn was acting like Rick the whole thing at the very end? He has a little heart to heart. It was kind of exactly like how Rick and Lori's last talk was. It was exactly like that. I'm like, wow, what a coincidence. He's acting like Rick right at the beginning, and then this happens. I thought that was pretty funny
at the very end.
Yeah.
My thing with what Jingle said about the characters outside of the mill, I liked how Herschel and Milton sat down and communicated, and I like how at first Daryl and Martinez were hostile towards each other, and then found that common ground, because I think even though they did take up the entire episode, as John said, they used that episode to show that they were still humans, that they still showed emotion, that they could show emotion towards each other, and that they're in the end they're the only survivors in a zombie apocalypse.
What exactly did Daryl and what is his name?
Martinez.
What did they say? Because at the end of this or something, where it's
it was Martinez said, none of this really matters right now, because at the end of this they're both gonna give the word. Yeah, they're gonna declare war on each other no matter what, and we're just gonna go at it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it was kind of that law in a war, like at Christmas time, World War II, they stopped in. I don't know if that's correct or not. World War I or World War II, there's a story where the two soldiers found on the fault line, and for Christmas they put their guns down. So I it's kind of comparable to that.
Yeah.
I like that. My favorite part about that was when they shared the cigarettes. Smoking's bad, don't do it, but it showed a bond in a way, and that was really interesting. It was something we haven't seen in a while between hostile groups. It's really
or between like kind of two humans, you know.
Yeah, right. It was awesome.
It was kind of like setting back from this whole everything that's going on. It's just two guys hanging out smoking a cigarette.
It's a good thing it's a good thing to relate to, I guess.
Do you think it will affect the war? Like when the battle actually starts, will they end up coming together, and will it be like Martinez kind of has this moment where he goes, "I really liked you," and then Daryl, knife throw.
That's what I was wondering getting at is, and then can we talk about the preview for the next episode?
We'll get to that.
Okay, we'll get to okay. So, but I did feel that, especially when he talked about how, tomorrow it's not going to matter, and they kind of gave that pause. They both looked at each other and paused, and then as they were all driving away, you could kind of see it in Martinez's eyes. He looked at Daryl as they drove by. So I feel like that is going to come up again, especially in the war.
I think like for sure it's going to be between Milton and Herschel. There's going to be something. I just feel, especially with Milton, I feel like Milton had that really strange bond with Herschel. Herschel not so much.
Are you saying like a violent encounter or a common ground?
They're the deep thinkers of each group.
Yeah, yes. Milton's going to try to stop something because he's noticed that there's good people in this group, especially Herschel, because that was very, very strange there.
A little too strange?
Yeah, can
I see your leg?
Yeah.
Drink first.
But it's the fact that for Milton in his group, he's the only deep thinker. Everyone else is
thinking on instinct.
Instinct, not only that, but they're all like they're want to be soldiers. Whereas Milton is, he does all the experiments, he's trying to figure everything out, and I like that about him. I kind of want him to switch sides, honestly. Yeah. I feel like we'd have a lot to benefit from him joining.
I feel like the people in the village, except for Karen.
Woodbury? Oh.
In Woodbury, Karen, that one girl who I believe let all the zombies out in that one van. And...
Huh? I don't know.
And when they went in and infiltrated...
The mom off Team Wolf.
Yeah.
Sorry to bring that up, but...
Team Wolf fan. Karen, the governor, and maybe one or other two people sitting on the wall. They're all they're ready for war. But I think everybody else is kind of like M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. They don't know what's going on. They're set to believe this thing that's not really true, and they're set for failure if they're going to follow the governor.
Yeah, right. And I think that's what I was going to say on Anthony's last statement was that the group in the prison, Rick's group, they're all on common grounds. I feel like Rick has set that ground to where they all know what's going on at all times. Whereas I feel like at Woodbury, you definitely have that dictatorship. It's clear. The governor says what's going on, and the townspeople abide by it like a dog. He says jump, and they say how high. And so they don't know any better. They don't know. They're scared. They're living in fear, complete fear.
Do you think it's funny that in Woodbury they claim to be a democracy, but as a dictatorship, and where Rick claimed that his was like the prison was a dictatorship, but it's more of he says I make all the decisions here, but before he makes a point, everyone votes. He goes to Herschel. He goes to does anyone else agree?
Yep.
Good. But also I kind of thought it was funny how the governor mentioned that he, even though his the prison, we'll call them the prisoners right now. The prisoners all know how to fight. Every one person in the prison is worth 10 or 5 that are in
Yes.
Woodbury. And he said, but I have more guns and more ammunition. I don't feel like that.
Yeah, I didn't get that part at all because I was like, that's not impressive at all.
Right.
Because none of these people know. They're scared of one zombie getting into the village or the town. What's,
And I think that was really evident at the very beginning of this whole Woodbury drama when Andrea came in, because she jumped the wall and took out the walker with a knife, and they all were amazed by it.
Mhm.
So and then when the zombies got in, how they freaked out. They're not gonna be able, one, to travel. Sure, they'll be in trucks and everything like that, but once they get there, there's going to be walkers that they're going to encounter. It's not going to be just strictly fighting the prison gang.
Mhm.
They're going to have to. I feel like they'll get freaked out by walkers as well, and that'll lead to the decline of their pursuit.
Real quick, we're going to introduce another special guest, Curls.
How's it going, everybody?
All right, back to the points. I also feel like if the war happens, that whereas when Woodbury attacks, say two people get killed, no one's gonna stop. The governor won't stop pursuing. But like if someone in the prison got shot, everyone's gonna be affected because like it's not a town; they're a family. They're protecting their family, and I feel like when the war comes, that that's gonna play a big factor.
Yeah, but back to the lines of they've seen it. So, sure, I think they'll be affected, but you've seen it when they're in the heat of the moment in, clearing out the prison with T-Dog dying. They took that pause, or,
Moment of silence, kind of.
yeah, well, no, even, why can't I think of her name?
Lori?
No,
Carol.
Carol kind of freaked out when T-Dog sacrificed for her, but she knew she had to keep going. So
Yeah.
there's that split second pause to acknowledge it, but I feel like they would take that pause and then keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't...
With certain characters, there's different relationships.
True.
Now, let's say that I don't think this is going to happen. Let's say Glenn dies. A different... No. I don't think it's going to happen.
They're setting up for it.
But how do you think certain people are going to act in that?
Maggie will freak out.
Maggie will be done.
Right, she'll be
I
done.
think she'll die at the same time.
Yeah.
I think if they're gonna die, it's gonna be a Romeo and Juliet thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Glenn will die anytime soon. If you're a comic book fan,
Although he's just now starting to come out as that heroine. He beasted it in Woodbury, and then and he's starting to take those power strides in the prison. So this could also be, veering away from the comic book effects and it just becoming a drama. This would be the perfect time to kill off somebody like him because he's on that high note, and they're gonna nip him before he gets to that climax.
It's been very well seen that in the show so far, when a specific character starts to become vocal or starts to become popular, they tend to be killed off, such as T-Dog.
The other black guy.
Other
Michonne. Let's just say it's a color thing.
Yep.
But I don't know. I feel like I do feel like they're kind of propping up Glenn, but I also feel like there was a point when he's even stated, Rick's not here, Daryl's not here, I'm next in command, and I like that, and I don't want them to get rid of it.
They're not gonna get rid of Glenn because besides Daryl, he's probably the most popular character on the show, and people will get so mad that they will not watch the show if he dies.
I heard they were gonna kill Daryl in that episode when they had Merle and him, but they realized that there was no way that the fans would let that happen.
They will never kill.
They'll
never kill.
Oh,
They'll never kill Daryl. Never will, unless it's a contract deal outside of the
I
show.
believe they're
Shane.
more likely to kill off Rick than they are to kill off Daryl.
I would not shed a tear for Rick, but
yeah, and I think that's a very good point. That just seeing the show, I had a huge pull towards Rick at the very beginning in the first 2 seasons, but this season they've definitely weaned off of the pedestal that Rick has been on, and it's kind of he's definitely being knocked back down to the ground, like with his talk with Carl.
I think they had to do that too because at sometimes it's all about Rick, and the screenwriter, I disagree with a lot of things he does, but this is one good thing that they're making other characters be big in the story besides it's just Rick all the time.
Yeah, 'cause I was getting annoyed of every couple of days or every couple episodes he freaks out and goes on his long little walkabouts. But one thing I liked about the second one is he finally opened up to Herschel.
Right.
Like in my opinion, I'd rather Herschel lead the group because he's not on the field. He's watching and he can make decisions. I mean, it's not like he doesn't Rick has Carl to lose, but he's so focused on that. Where Herschel, I mean, he has his 2 daughters, but I think he's accepted. I don't want to say spiritual enough, but he's accepted that something's going to happen. Like we're all going to die at this point, and we just need to value the time we have together and keep it together. And I feel like that's why he should be leader, and Rick should just completely step down.
I feel like he has accepted death where Rick hasn't. That's why I keep seeing Lori. And that is a big thing right now because of the state they're in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see the previous episode when he goes to talk to, what's his name? Morgan. That he's like, you can come with us. You can be safe in the prison. And he's like, do you not understand? Like, you cannot be safe in there. You guys will all die. And Rick's like, no, we're going to live. He thinks that we're going to get through this. There's going to be a cure eventually. Blah, blah, blah.
And even coming back to that, where Herschel has dealt with death with the loss of his wife, Rick obviously cannot handle the trauma of losing Lori or losing Carl, where when he's talking to Morgan in that episode, he says, you have to be able to come out of this. You have to be able to do it. Because he knows that if Morgan can't come back from losing his son Dwayne, then Rick isn't going to be able to come back from losing Lori.
Good point.
Very true.
But at the end of that episode, I really, really liked, and we're gonna get to this topic later. I thought there was a bond between Michonne and Rick when she said, "So I hear you keep seeing your wife or something," and then at the very end she says, "I see people too."
She said she talked to her boyfriend.
She talked to her boyfriend for a long time.
I'm assuming her boyfriend was one of the walkers.
Yeah,
that
it was her boyfriend and her
in the
neighbor
comics,
or
I'm
dad.
pretty sure it's the boyfriend and his friend. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I thought it was
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I thought there was a kind of a connection. You know what? We got completely off topic, but I like that. We just took up.
What
a lot
was
of
the
time.
original topic?
The original topic.
It was what we thought of the episode.
Yeah, probably the episode, and then we kind of skipped the next question, which is going to be about what we thought about the meeting and how the two groups talked. We hit that point. Just to get off onto my least favorite character, because this has to be talked about. How do you guys feel about Andrea being the little kid in the middle, having to pick between?
Bitch as usual.
Yeah.
Yep.
I can't say my word on radio.
See you next Tuesday.
Anywho,
Again, coming
Literally,
from the
Aslan will not be here next week.
again, coming from the perspective of somebody who has not read the comics and is only watching it as a TV drama action.
I say drama.
Drama. I don't have that hatred towards her. Do I think she's annoying? Yes, due to the fact that she separated from the group. But that wasn't even her fault, the separation.
But just to point out, she's really cool in the comics.
Yes, the comics,
Really?
she's a completely different character. I actually really, really like her character in the comics. In the show, the adaptation is completely different.
Okay.
In the comic books, it's not really a big spoiler because it's not like one of the big things. But him and what's the guy that they killed at the farm that died?
Shane.
No, drove the RV.
Dale.
Dale. Her and
Good
Dale
old
have a
Dale.
relationship in the prison and everything.
Oh,
I've only got to like issue 40 and stuff, but
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
I think Andrea, there's a term called a middleman, and that's exactly what she is. She's a man, and she's in the middle of it all.
And see, I hate her, but I kind of gained a little bit of respect because at the end of the episode, was it Herschel who told her that she basically had to make her decision?
Yeah.
And she got in the truck got back in the truck with the governor after their meeting. And at first I thought, wow, what a slap in the face that she obviously said, I'm picking this group.
Right.
But no, she's there because I feel like now she realized that she's back with the prison group,
Mhm.
and she has to be there to watch the governor. And if she has to be that assassin,
But then she ruined herself. Sorry, she ruined herself right after that because when they went back into the town and she asked the governor if everything was good, and he said, "Yeah, it's all under control." Blah blah blah. She fell for the tricks again.
No, I don't think she did
she
because
did. I
if you
think
looked at her
she's-
facial reactions there, she kind of was just like, yeah, okay. And she just walked off her own way. She didn't go back and sleep with him again.
because she found about curls.
If you look at it though too, you have to think back to this point. Is the reason that the people in the prison are still alive is because Andrea is pushing for them for this truce with the governor, or do you think that without her he would have done that? Because to me, I feel like if it wasn't for Andrea, he would have just released all hell on the prison to
No,
start with.
I don't think he knows for a fact he doesn't have the ability to.
I don't know.
He doesn't care about Andrea at all.
He's putting
Right.
the governor's putting his own wants and needs before anyone else.
Well, he's been doing that the entire time.
I know, but this now more than ever because all he's asking for is Michonne, even though he wants to kill everybody else.
Right.
Just because he put his eye up and he showed his eye in the episode. It was a symbol of his greed of wanting to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
That's all he wants. He just wants revenge on her. Then he's going to take out everybody else for killing his friend.
He
Yes,
did,
it's-
he did specifically say that to the guy when they got back to
At the gate.
Woodbury that shoot everybody except her.
Right.
He has his eye set on her.
I feel like that's a quote. I feel like if this does happen and she does, if they're stupid enough, which I really don't think they're going to take the first move, because if they're smart about this whatsoever, then they're just going to 300 the war, funnel Woodbury into the prison, because it'll take their efforts and manpower more time to get through the prison walls than it would be for the prisoners to get into Woodbury. And so if they're dumb enough to go to Woodbury, I feel like the governor to punish Michonne, right?
Yeah, Michonne.
That he would then turn her. He wouldn't just cut off her head and put it into a case. I think he would keep her as a walker.
I could actually see that, and then it'd be was it Icarus who tried to steal fire from the sun, and then Zeus punished him by locking him on a mountain, and he got his liver eaten out by a crow every day for the eternity.
Nice.
Yep. All right. Well, I feel like he would do that. He'd keep her as a walker, and then whenever he was pissed off, bang, just shoot her in the chest, and she can't go anywhere, and he could just kind of
Yeah, he would punish her.
Yeah. Keep her there for eternity, right?
My point about him coming to the prison is what you have to remember is as of right now, the prison people do not know that Tyrese and his party are there. So they don't know that the governor knows about that extra passage into the prison that they technically haven't looked into yet.
Right. But didn't they start to make well, no, that's right. They just went and looked and saw that it was overrun by walkers. So they've not made any measures to close it off. And now the governor knows that there's a back way, just like Curls just said, that there's a back way into the prison.
But I would actually, I mean, who knows if that's going to happen, but I would like it if they didn't mention that there was overrun by walkers. They just said that's a back way. And so when the governor attacks the first time, sends a bunch of his people in, and they're just
That's true because only Glenn and Carl know. Well, the prisoners know that it's a run over, but Tyrese and his group don't know that anymore because they climbed through it, and then Carl saved them and blah blah blah. So that is very true. It could be a backdoor trap, honestly.
I don't know. I think we talked about last night how there's more than one prison in this state, but all right. Basically, there's more than one prison in this state, and is it pride to leave?
Oh, yeah, we are talking about Andrea, aren't we?
Yeah. See,
Really
no
off
one
topic.
likes her enough to stay on her.
Well,
Hint it, hint it.
oh,
Except for
Shane.
the governor. Shane's gone.
or the thing from Fantastic Four. Heartbroken.
Yeah.
Got that from their website. Check it out.
SedanBuzz.com.
And but okay, so we go back to Andrea. Once again, like I said, I have no quarrels with her just because I'm looking at it as a drama on TV. I I do like that she is being the middle ground, that middle person.
Hasn't she always played the middle person?
I feel
like
like
No.
she.
and everything. Shane and the Rick, the group.
No,
and-
she wanted to. Before this, she was always a problem starter. You know, when they didn't after her sister died, and she wanted to die, no one would let her. They said live. Then she was always mad about that. She was always holding a grudge. She hated Dale until he died, and then she was mad because she wasn't allowed to shoot a gun. She was mad that Shane was gone, or Shane was trying to leave, and I don't know. I didn't care for her up until this episode.
Yeah, I do like that point you just made, that she definitely has been an instigator to drama in the community that she's living in. And it's even showing now in Woodbury, is because she is conflicted in her own morals, that now she's kind of a double agent. She's kind of a double spy here, where she is morally wanting to help the prisoners, but physically she's there at Woodbury. And we said we were going to touch on it later about the previews, and I guess we'll touch on that in a minute, because I have something to say about that, obviously.
All right. So basically, this topic's pretty much dead. Last words on how they feel about Andrea joining. My personal feel is that I like it. This is redemption.
Hope she falls in a hole.
If there's anybody that I want dead in the show right now, it's her.
Or Carl.
I really like her.
No comment.
I'd like to see her die after one more sex scene.
Someone had to say it.
I like her character, and I think, I agree with Anthony, and it could be a redemption, get back into the prisoner group, but not be a bitch and cause problems.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we mentioned before, there will be a lot of spoiler alerts. And so our next question and topic will be, how do you guys feel about, the governor saying sacrifice Michonne, and Rick kind of saying that he was going to do it? Do you feel like that was like super betrayal? I mean, I have my point that I've mentioned before, and I hope someone else brings it up. Who wants to start this?
Girls.
I guess my first point is, before we go into that, is what led up to after that point where Rick addressed the group, and then he addressed Herschel afterwards in two completely different standpoints. Because when he addressed the group, to me, I was thinking to myself, really, Rick? Is that what the governor said? Because that's not what he said. And Rick was leaning more towards, all right, he's going to kill us all, we're going to war, end of story, that's it. Mm-hmm. But really, when he started talking to Herschel, that's not what happened.
He was just using his fear.
But I feel like that is what the governor said, because and that was Rick's way of saying that he was not going to sacrifice Michonne, because he didn't even throw that out there as an option. And his exact words to Herschel were, when Herschel said, "Why are you talking to me about this?" he said, "Because I'm hoping you can talk me out of it." And him saying that is having Herschel talk Rick out of keeping Michonne.
Mm-hmm.
We touched on it a bit earlier about Michonne talking about seeing dead people as well. I feel like he could have seriously thought about doing this, but now that he's not thinking about it at all, because he needs somebody to relate to, because he has never said anything to anyone about seeing Lori, and now that he finally found someone that has also seen a dead person, he has someone to relate to now. It's a lot easier for him to, I see dead people, not give her up.
Yeah, and also this proves another point that Rick is no longer the person he used to be.
Mm-hmm.
He fell right for the governor's trick, and I feel like he did at first.
He said that he was instilling fear in them. He said they need to be afraid.
Yeah, but Rick was falling straight for it, because he's like, how can I know I can trust you? Like, why would he say that?
Because he's gonna know. Because he knows that he can't trust him.
But if he's totally against it in the beginning, why would he even ask? Because if he knows what kind of person the governor is and stuff, then why would he even?
But I mean, I think in that note, he is just questioning the fact of, is there something that you can do to show me that you're gonna? Because Rick is a man of his word. Rick, I feel like in the episodes, in the seasons, he's been a man of his word. Although Morgan felt like he didn't, but Rick was on that radio every time at noon every day.
Mhm.
And so Rick is a man of his word, and the governor, we know is not. So Rick was trying to just test the waters to see if there was some way that he could tell if the governor was a man of his word. Which I feel like by doing that, by asking how he could trust him, being a man of his word, Rick, that being, can tell that the governor is not. If that makes sense.
The question I would have is, do you guys think when the governor told Rick the story of his wife, was it true? And
Ooh,
because
good.
that is when I saw Rick kind of cock his head and be like,
That's the moment he fell for it.
well,
Because Andrea
Okay.
talks too much. Because
and you have to think too, how about the slammer of the governor being like,
oh, Shane.
your wife did Shane, suck it.
Very true.
Yeah, but here's one of my overall things about this whole situation is when Rick came down and they put down the map and they said basically this, and the best solution was we have this part of the river, you have this part of the river, we don't bother each other, we don't trade. That was the ultimate solution, and the governor said no, I'm here for your surrender. So what does that mean? How do you surrender in this world except for die? And then at the end say, oh well, actually there is I want Michonne after he just stated that he is not going to accept a
Right.
truce.
And so it made I feel like it made it very clear right there that he was not gonna value any word that he ever said. And I think Rick picks up on that.
Mhm.
Rick's not an idiot. He might be going crazy,
Yeah.
but being a cop, he knows how to read people. If you go in that much into his character background, cops know how to read people. They can tell when people are lying, when they're telling the truth.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I feel like Rick could definitely. I feel like he did not fall into the trap of the governor.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to think of the last part of this would be. Oh,
What do we expect? Or
not what we expect. I just have my big point was for. Ah, dang it. Okay, well, this was my point. When Rick is talking to Herschel at the very end, it's basically saying, "What should I do?" And he said about giving Michonne to the governor, and Herschel says, "Well, she saved my life. She saved Carl's life. She's earned her spot and place in this group." And Rick basically says, I wish you didn't tell me that, or I wish you'd
I wish
convince
you
me
could
otherwise."
convince
Yeah.
me, talk me out of doing this.
He said, exact quote, he says, why are you telling me this? And he says, because I want you to talk me out of it.
Which Timmy has made point to already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you have a jingles?
I mean, the bottom line is Rick's got to make a hard decision here.
Yep.
To keep her or to not keep her. And if he keeps her, it's going to sway the show completely one way. If he gets rid of her, it's going to sway it a whole different way. But I feel I'm in favor, I don't know about you guys, of keeping her.
Of course.
Oh yeah,
Right.
She's
Yeah.
as valuable as Daryl is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. With
absolutely.
that samurai sword, she's a champ.
You don't have to reload a sword.
Yeah, exactly. Or a baseball bat, which the other guy had.
No matter what, it's gonna be bad because he still lied.
Right.
Rick lied to the whole group, and
But he
you know that's
didn't.
gonna go out.
He didn't.
Right, because the governor did say, like, this is not going to work. You guys are going to die. We will go to war. But then he also went to the side of where he wants to make a deal. The governor in their meeting did say both set of information. Rick, as much as he says he is the dictator of this group, he chose which information to tell the group. And that was a reason to let them know what he thinks the governor's actually going to do.
The worst possible scenario.
Exactly. You tell your family the worst case scenario, so that way they can prepare for that. Because if you prepare for
The easiest outcome.
then you're gonna get screwed.
They're still not gonna be happy that he hid that from them, though.
Hid what though?
That he was gonna sacrifice Michonne, and
But he
somehow
would- I
that's
don't
gonna
think Rick-
backfire.
It
I
will
don't
come
think
up later,
Rick-
and
Yeah,
I don't think Rick was ever going to sacrifice Michonne. I don't think he.
I don't think so
I don't think
either.
he would, because if he does that, then that kills the drama between the prison and Woodbury, and this becoming less of a comic reenactment
Mhm.
and more of a TV drama. They want to pull their viewers in. They want to keep them in as long as possible. And so they're going to keep this drama between the prison and Woodbury going as long as they can until the war breaks out so they can pull in even more and more and more money from viewers.
My point is, like you just said, Timmy, the story cannot simply. It would if Rick said, "Okay, we're gonna give up Michonne to Woodbury," the season will end right there because
Right.
every one of them will die in that crossfire.
Yes.
Or this is my point. Rick told Herschel on the roof that he says he wants Michonne, and he's gonna kill us in the process anyway.
Right.
Rick knows, but he says, "But what if he's not?"
He does say that?
He says, "But what if
He
he's
does.
not?" That's why he's
He retracts the
contemplating
statement.
giving her up.
Okay. But, and in that sense right there, that is Rick telling Herschel everything.
Yeah,
That's everything that the governor has said.
because he also said, "Would you risk your daughter's life
Right.
for Michonne?"
Right.
So
Well, here's my big point. So basically, what we're saying is because Michonne has saved Carl's life and has saved Herschel's life, and Herschel even states she's saved my life before.
When was that, by the way?
That was
Remind me.
when
he fell. He was in the field
Yeah.
when they came and
And she
attacked
came
the prison.
for
It
him.
was like 3 episodes.
it was when the,
The
governor
governor-
first
When
attacked.
When the governor's first attack.
And
Okay.
he killed out.
So that, okay. I didn't,
So, rest in peace.
I mean, that kind of counts as a save,
Yeah.
but I feel like, Glenn drove up in the truck as well.
A quick moment of silence for Axel. All right,
I was really starting to like him, too.
huh?
I was
Now
really,
that- You can't kill the man with the mustache.
oh, he had a nice mustache. Too. And he was
Carol's
trying
gonna
to,
get a
yeah,
bod.
he was about to get some.
You're about to get that mustache right.
But
Carol.
back to my main point. So
Boom.
with you're not lesbian,
I wish.
Rest in peace for Carol not being lesbian.
Alright, that wasn't
all
that
right,
funny.
no, but what if like say instead of Michonne it was Morgan and the governor said I want Morgan, and then Rick's comment was because he has this direct link with Morgan because Morgan saved his life, and just like Michonne has saved Herschel's life and other members of other members of the group's life. So are we saying that? I don't know. So it's just Rick picking and choosing. Because Rick doesn't like her.
But I feel like he is starting to like her because
They had that moment.
they had that
The
moment,
relatable moment.
and Carl, Rick weighs a lot on what Carl says. He
Mhm.
doesn't take it with a grain of salt. He really weighs what his son has to say. And I feel like when Carl talks about how he should step down, that really affects Rick. So when Carl makes a point that, she's really becoming one of them, that what are the exact words before they get into the car? Do you guys remember
I
from?
think she's one of us.
Yeah, I think she's one of us. That really weighs on Rick because he thinks about it and he sees now that she really is.
Mhm.
So I think he likes her now.
I think he likes her, but also I don't know if this episode before this one when at the very end when they're driving and the hitchhiker was trying to get a ride from him and they drove past him at the very end they just took his stuff. Does that just show the kind of world we're in? Like Michonne was there, and then I mean she's as valuable as. I don't know. I just don't
But-
see Rick having a connection with her that
Okay,
strong.
but
I want
also here's the other thing. She also saved the baby. If you think about
to.
that,
Mhm.
she picks up the formula and everything that
How
Glenn
did she
and
know where
Maggie.
that was?
She
The formula? She was watching it.
no,
Oh,
no,
no.
no.
How
How
did she
she
know
knew
where
how she knew to get back to the prison.
Because they said that they were in the
Oh,
prison and there's only
that's
one prison
Right. And yeah. And so
in that state.
Right.
Michonne has definitely, I feel like,
She's earned her keep.
yeah, she definitely has because now if you factor that in, she saved Rick's baby, she saved Rick's son, and she saved Herschel.
Not to mention she went in to get Maggie and Glenn.
Right.
In a way,
mean,
she's saved everybody.
In
Yeah.
a way, she's come in and played a vital role.
Yeah.
And she didn't.
And she had to
She
kill
does
her
it with
two
such
walkers
class.
I also hate the fact that they're mad at her because they said, "Well, she left us when we were in Woodbury."
Yeah.
She didn't really leave them. She went after the governor.
Right.
And
She knew.
I feel like if we're gonna think about this as an army, like she's the assassin.
Right.
She goes in quietly. She doesn't have a gun that doesn't make noise. She goes in, bam, and she's gone.
Yeah, she's definitely in a. If we broke down the prisoners into units and everything like that, she would definitely be the assassin of the group,
I think it's kind of
along
cool.
with Daryl.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool how we're building a, like, it's almost like, you say, oh, well, if I had a perfect team, it'd be this, this, and this. Well,
Right.
he's getting it. He's, like, not pulling in, but he's slowly finding people. If he
Right.
brings Tyrese in, Tyrese is the muscle.
The
and
warrior.
The warrior. And you have
Don't get
Daryl.
your hopes up.
He's the brawn of.
They've
You don't
gotta
think
kill
so?
off a black character soon.
Well, they're building up for his death. The thing about it is, I think he would be a small character just because in the comic books, he's in there from the beginning. He's pretty much the Daryl of the group from the beginning of the comic books, and he's an amazing character. But I really think if they get anything wrong in the comic, anything right in the comics to this big thing, I think it's going to be Tyrese dying.
Yeah, well, another quick spoiler about the book is that, since Tyrese is from the beginning, he does die in the original, like, confrontation with Woodbury. The governor kills him because him and Michonne go in after him, after the governor, or into Woodbury.
Michonne kills him.
Huh?
Michonne kills Tyrese.
I thought Tyrese was, like, oh,
Yeah, Michonne kills Tyrese.
okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Yep.
So, would you compare Tyrese's character to the black guy that was killed, the prisoner?
That's because I didn't know at the time. We didn't know that Tyrese was going to be casted into this.
Right.
So I was like, yes, this is going to be Tyrese, but change the name, different, but he's still going to represent. But
And then they brought Tyrese in.
Yeah.
I think at the end of that episode, wasn't it?
No.
It was the very beginning of the last episode, I believe.
Before the
mid-season
break.
finale.
Yeah.
Right,
Mid-season
right.
finale.
Right.
They brought him in, and I was excited because
Which was an awesome way brought
Oh
him in.
my
Just with
gosh,
that
yeah.
hammer.
And the thing about it is, there is such a big part that sticks out to me in the comic books about the characters that are with them. And I'm excited. I was excited for that, and I was hoping to get brought in here, but I don't think it will. So, if anybody remembers.
The only point that I want to make is, do you think they're going to kill off Tyrese, or do you think they're going to kill off Tyrese's group, and then it just be Tyrese with the prisoner?
On
Flannel
that,
t-shirts going down.
yes, I think that Tyrese and is it his wife?
It's his
Girly
it's his
friend,
daughter.
I don't know.
Okay, this is what's in the group right now. It's Tyrese, his daughter, her boyfriend, which
white
is
guy?
the white guy, and then his parents, which did the mom die?
The mom died.
The mom died,
The
so
mother
it's the
died.
dad. I really think if they could bring, they got a bunch of different stuff, like I've been talking with the comic books. The story between the two daughter, like just the relationship of them three characters, is really, really good. Them three.
Those three?
Those
Those three.
three. Come on, man.
Ocean talk.
Hey, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Yeah, but his daughter and her boyfriend, they do a pretty big thing in the comic books, and I really hope they get their life saved. So this would be big in the show if that got brought into this. But I don't-
On that, I feel like which more point on the preview later. So I guess I'll hold off on this. But I feel like also while they were at the prison, I did not like the fact that the dad and the son were plotting against the prisoners. That Tyrese and his daughter were the ones who were like, no, we're in a good place. Like, don't screw this up. And they didn't care. They thought that I thought it was funny. They thought that they could take on Rick and the prisoners. That was funny.
Obviously,
Good
don't know about
luck.
the headshot cheat code that they all have.
Right. Yeah.
but not when they're having a battle.
Yeah,
especially
no,
with
the
a
governor.
revolver. Yeah. Yeah. When it's the walkers, it's headshots all day.
Headshot.
It's the governor standing in
It's
the
like
middle of a
10
field.
feet, 10 feet away, ricochets,
Gosh, that was
and they all have sights on their guns.
Yeah.
Even the snipers miss.
Yeah, so we've all pretty much got the same ideas when it comes to Tyrese and when it comes to Michonne. But character I would like to bring up is Morgan. He has the potential to be a huge character. I think because I was talking to a friend about this, Patrick Young, and he
Continue.
what edit that out. I was talking to one of my friends about this, and he stated this, that he's been through a lot. And I think once he snapped out of it,
He's talking about Morgan, not himself.
once Morgan snapped out of it, that he has a potential to do anything because of his knowledge. He survived this long. If you look at that town, like it was absolutely zombie proof, and it was amazing. They could use a mind like that.
Yeah, I think. Well, they could, but I almost feel like since they've wasted it, I feel like if this war actually happens and they're getting attacked, and say Rick is on the verge of being or killed, I feel like at the last second, here comes Morgan, who decides that he's going to come
Like the arrow through the head.
Like the arrow through the head. I feel like he'll come to the rescue.
I don't think.
The thing about that is I really think, this whole episode was a really break from what's going on at the prison in Woodbury. There was a reason that this thing was all different. There was a reason it was just Rick and him up in the thing. I just don't really think, that's the last time we're going to see him. I really, that was his ending, and everything still at, when they were walking away, when Carl said sorry to him and stuff, and that's the last time we're going to see him.
Sorry.
Because,
I can see that being his farewell.
If you bring him in, it's just gonna be like, oh, okay, he cured himself from how crazy he was. It just how it was all set up. That episode was completely different than anything so far, and it was a big break.
Or maybe he'll come back as proof that Rick will be okay. I kind of want that, to him coming back and saying, this proves that Rick will eventually, he'll come into it.
I have two points to make. The first one being about Morgan. I would love for him to come back. He's definitely one of my favorite characters that doesn't have a main part. However, it has been made a very big point that the character who plays Morgan is a very, very expensive actor. And I honestly and truthfully just don't think that they can afford to pay him to be a everyday character.
No, correct me if I'm wrong. He was on Jericho, correct? He's the spy on Jericho.
I don't
Not
watch
sure.
Jericho.
I don't watch
I
that.
believe so.
I'm-
I'm straight.
I'm gonna figure that out right now. What? Jericho was about the end of the world.
just
That's not
kidding.
the point right now. Walking
Okay,
Dead.
hey, but going on, thing about it is if they would bring him back, there's not much you can do with him. We got all these characters, developing stories. If you bring this back, we kind of already know his story. He doesn't really have much to go off of now that he has practically nothing. So after he comes back, has his heroic, maybe like how you guys are saying, heroic thing in this big battle. What's gonna happen next? He's just gonna live at the prison. He's just gonna turn into a guy they lean on every once in a while,
Maybe.
like a T-Dog,
Maybe they can bring him in, him do that heroic act, and then die later. And Rick and him have this moment where he's dying and bleeding out or something. Which I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that'd be a perfect way to kill off Morgan's character. And I feel like he would just be accepting about it.
They did. I feel like they just did justice with that episode. Everything. It was the episode completed the character, and it really just ended everything with him. I don't know. Just
Off of that topic, how sweet would it be if Rick took the ideas from what I would call Morgantown and just did that all over the prison, and they just left, and the governor came in and was like, "Oh, we can have it now." Nope,
booby
gone.
trap.
Booby trap.
Booby trap.
I wish they
that
would.
rug part.
Back to my side note about Morgan. Yes, he was in Jericho.
Someone said welcome.
Yeah, I kind of was. I wish they went more into the fact that the governor originally tried to get the prison, and then stated, "Oh well, even with 70 of us at one point, there probably wasn't 70 of us that went into the prison. It was probably 20."
Yeah, he was very adamant that they couldn't take over the prison, even though they went at it. And what was it, 5?
Right.
Five.
Well, they only did it
five-
just to scare him. They had no
Oh
intention of taking
no!
it.
But the fact is, they didn't go in to clear it out because at no point were they killing zombies. I mean, they ran a bus through the gate and released walkers. At
Right.
no point are they capable of going in and like Rick's group was, because I know they used guns when they were in the prison, or when they went in and were shooting. But Rick's group came in with knives, bam, 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 because the zombies are attracted to sound mostly.
Right.
Sound and smell, and so sound. Yeah, so they weren't listening to the gunshots going off, and Rick's group is more stealthy than the governor's group.
And that's something that I feel like they're just not getting into their heads at Woodbury, because their gates are surrounded by people with guns,
Mhm.
and they just continue to fire off shots. And I feel like they're just not getting the concept of being quiet.
They keep mentioning the herd, and I kind of like the idea that right now the zombies are starting to mass together, and I feel like eventually that Woodbury's gonna make so much noise, or Rick's payback, like how they threw a zombie bomb. Rick's gonna throw an actual bomb, and that noise is gonna attract this herd, and the herd is going to World War Z Woodbury.
I feel like that herd. Sorry, Jingles, but the herd. I feel like that herd could also be their way out of Morgan as well, because they could try to go back to see if Morgan's okay and realize that that herd blew through Morgan's traps. And
But even so, with Morgan, I have 2 points now on this herd. Sorry.
Forgot what I was gonna
That-
say.
Morgan, he didn't come down to the ground initially. He only came down from the top of his building when he realized that Rick and them were not going
which I
to
really
leave.
don't understand.
I don't
why he would do
understand that either. So if there's a herd of zombies, he's gonna keep quiet and he's gonna stay up top and hide.
Mhm.
That second note here is that the herds have been attracted by that helicopter that we saw in the first season, which we haven't seen very much of lately.
No.
Yeah, remember it
Because
crashed?
it crashed,
was
and
like
the
one of
survivors, and then
It
That's when
The
crashed.
governor killed him. Remember that?
Is that the helicopter?
yeah.
Oh.
But it does mean that there's a base. There is a
That's right. That mean that.
They said, I'm 99% sure that they said that their base had been overrun and they were the only ones left.
Oh.
Don't
No,
quote me on
that was the other Marines.
Okay.
But how are
Oh,
we saying that there is a
you're right.
Marine
Okay.
group or a group of Marines that can't last as long as a bunch of regular people?
Militia.
Oh, I can see this being a very terrible idea. But no, since we are running short on time, we're gonna get to the last point that everyone's been kind of excited for, the preview for next week's episode. Go
Okay,
for it.
because I've been hinting on it a ton. One of the reasons why I do like Andrea is the fact that she is double teaming right now. She is coming back to Woodbury, and she's trying, as we talked about how Milton, right?
Yeah.
How Milton could become a member of the prison gang because of his connection there with Herschel, and her coming back and telling Milton that this can't happen, that she has to stop the governor, and how you could tell, at least I thought I could tell, Milton likes that idea. He's starting to see the other side of the governor now, and that he could easily be persuaded because he is a pushover. The person who pushes him the hardest is gonna win. So, or even, I mean, if
His
you take
walls
it,
are starting to clash.
right, his morals. Once he noticed that people can be human, such as Herschel, and make jokes again and laugh, I think I feel like Andrea is gonna pull Herschel and Tyrese's group, or at least Tyrese and his daughter, into the prison on their side.
See, to me, I have 2 points here. First of all, about Tyrese's group, I feel like by the preview, it very much shows Tyrese as being on the governor's side.
Yeah. Because he talks to Andrea. Andrea has this plan about, whatever. I forgot what she said in the preview. Well, then it shows later in the preview that Tyrese goes and talks to the governor exactly about it.
He does. I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I did see her say which I guess then because it was kind of a resentful comment from her that the governor is not what he comes out to be. What she said there to him.
So, well, that would bring me to my point. If it happens this week, if it were to happen, who kills the governor?
Michonne.
Rick.
Milton.
Milton.
Oh, that's
Ooh.
I think if it happens,
that's where my vote goes.
it's going to be
Yeah.
Milton.
That's a very good.
Wow.
I think it's gonna be Michonne. That's all she's wanted. This build up of the governor wanting to kill her, he wanting to kill
But
her.
see,
it's gonna show
it
down to
goes
that.
it goes back to viewers and throwing them all for a loop. It's a drama.
It's
It
a
is
drama.
an AMC drama.
But they also pointed out because when Merle, which we didn't get to talk about Merle this week, but when Merle says, "You and me, we can go and take the governor out," she says no.
Right.
She could, like, honestly, they could have gone and they could have ended it.
Yep.
Well, as of right now, Michonne still thinks that Andrea has feelings for the governor, and Michonne does not want Andrea to be unhappy. So I feel like if it comes down to a down and out battle, if Michonne dies, Milton's the one that kills her. In the episode, that's what would.
I agree with you, but
Wait,
I don't
wait,
agree with the fact that
You think Milton's gonna kill Michonne?
No, Milton would kill the governor, and in the process, before that, the governor would kill Michonne,
Okay.
and thus Milton
Okay.
killing her.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I think Michonne will last longer. Will be one of the top lasting characters in this show.
Yeah.
Because
Her survival skills.
her survival skills, and even in the book, she's still kicking.
Really?
Yeah, she's a very likable character. She'll
Yeah.
'Cause I
She
know a
is
lot-
growing on me.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of people don't like her because they're like, oh, well, she's, stuck up. She's this. She doesn't open up. Well, would you? You were living in the woods, and the only
With
people you
two walkers.
two walkers,
Yeah.
genius. But
Yeah.
yeah. So yes.
I have a little something to say real quick.
Take
I'll
your
take
time.
a little poll. Name one person who you think's gonna die in this next episode. It cannot be the governor now.
Do I have to pick?
One person. One person.
I don't think anybody's gonna die. I feel like it's gonna be another build-up episode.
Oh, yeah. Well, no. Ask this question: who do you think will be the next person to die, not counting the governor?
Tyrese.
Okay, Tyrese.
Curls says.
Curl says Tyrese. Ooh,
I can
changed
agree.
my vote.
Oh,
changed
maybe
my
I
vote.
don't agree. Let's hear Curls' new vote.
What is Herschel's other daughter's name?
No,
Oh.
definitely not.
Nah.
She's
Yeah,
too
I
con-
believe she's the next one to go.
she's too conservative. And
She's gonna
especially
repopulate the world.
no, especially
Oh,
if
Rick.
no, because
In a
Axel
couple
So
died.
she's over 18.
With Carl.
Axel
Rick.
died. With
pedophile jokes.
John's comment about it being another build-up episode, which I agree to. I feel like she's conservative. She shot a gun once in this entire 3 seasons
It
that
just
I've
happened.
seen. All right, she's gonna stay behind. She's not the next one to die.
My pick for the next person gonna die is I'm gonna say Andrea. I really think this is actually gonna happen. She's gonna be caught in the crossfire.
I like
Exactly.
that. I agree with
I
that.
agree.
Like
I-
caught
I-
between the
I understand that. Where she's been the whole time, she's
Yeah.
in between. But
right, and then finally it's gonna backfire on her. You know?
Yes, yes.
my vote is going to Martinez. I think he's going down, and I don't know why. He's
Martinez is the
He's
baseball
let
bat
it-
dude.
he's let his guard down. At first, he didn't want the cigarette. Smoking's bad, and then he took it.
But I feel like
He's
that
letting his
also.
guard down.
But I also feel like that puts him on the same level as Daryl. They're both the mercenary for their group. And so if one of them
Give
dies,
Daryl
the other
an
one
inch, he's gonna
dies.
take a
No.
yard.
Well, the thing about it is Martinez would be a perfect person for Rick's group. But the
Yes.
thing about it is
There can
that
only be
can't
one.
happen.
He
That
can-
can't happen.
That can
So
only
you
be
know
one Highlander style.
he has to die. You know.
So I believe that would bring us to this point, which is possibly zombie kill of the week. In my vote, I believe it goes to Daryl's throwing knife
Yeah.
into the zombie's head,
Yeah.
past Martinez's face.
Just because that has the testosterone build up, like I'm the man
Yeah.
effect to it.
Oh.
He showed dominance right there.
My favorite was when he shot the one walker through the eye and it got the other in the neck.
but it
Yes,
didn't
the
kill.
partial
If
kill is my favorite
if-
as well.
it would have been a double kill, yes. However, Martinez's baseball bat skills.
Samurai
Yeah,
baseball
he's
bat.
he's twirling that thing like a champion baton
Look at
twirler.
the year.
Here's what I
And he
want.
grabs it and just smashes one swing, smashes that head into the side of that mill.
What I want to know is where Daryl got the concept that Martinez was in the army because he smashed a zombie's face in with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
True. But
It's like
I,
redneck status. What?
I feel like that could also have just been from his shooting and everything like that prior to it, or why he is the head of the mercenaries for Woodbury. I'm done.
All right. Well, that's it. This was the first podcast episode of the Dynamic Dead.
We should do this more often.
We
Yeah,
should do
I
this
like
more
this.
often.
I like this.
Tuesday. See you next Tuesday, Andrea. Hopefully not.
Whoa!
Yeah, but
Get it? Spell it out.
like he said, every Tuesday we'll be on here, and we will walk you guys through the last 3 episodes of this season. And I don't know, I'm excited.
Curls out.
Thank you. Curls is out.
I'm John.
John's out.
Jingles out.
Tim's out.
And I'm Anthony, and my last word is from Zombie Survival Tip number 4. Blades don't need to be reloaded.
Very
All right,
nice.
Take that with
What
you.
up, Michonne?
Anthony out.
And